What's going on? Thunderstruck Gaming is Bipolar Bear, and what I want to talk about today is if Respawn made a Call of Duty clone. Now, before I get into that, obviously we have to give a big thank you to Thunder for letting us to upload to his great community channel, but it's not just a thank you to Thunder for letting us upload. This is a big thank you to you, the audience, for sticking with us and watching these videos. And I see a lot of people making videos saying that YouTube's doing this and YouTube's doing that wrong, but for me, I think the content creators themselves, they seem to just stare at the numbers and wonder why them numbers aren't going higher. They don't stop to think that behind that number is a person, a living, breathing person who could have been doing anything else with their day, but they chose to watch either this video or that video or any other video. And as content creators, I think a lot of us take that for granted, and when that stops blowing your mind that people take time at their lives when they could have been doing literally anything else, that's when the problems creep in. So a massive thank you for you for not only watching this but for supporting YouTube channels all around there. It's really freaking cool what people do for us. Anyway, if Respawn made a CoD clone, now I'm a huge Titanfall fan. I am. Titanfall 1 was my favorite ever first-person shooter, and Titanfall 2, you know what, it's not far behind that. This isn't me saying, oh, I hate Call of Duty or I hate Infinity Ward. You know, I even like Infinite Warfare. You know what I mean? I don't think that game's actually too bad. I jump on there, I play with my friends, and I have a good time every now and then, but I just like games. I like to play games, and this is the whole purpose behind this video. I want to see Respawn make a Call of Duty clone, not to take out Call of Duty, not to kill CoD or be the CoD killer, just so they could both coexist. Because the closest competitor to Call of Duty, and it's just a competitor, is Battlefield. But they aren't even competitors. People who compare Call of Duty and Battlefield as games, they need to just up and leave the room right now, because they are so far apart. They need their fucking passports to get back to being remotely close together. They are nothing alike each other. Call of Duty for me is kind of like a midnight wank, you know what I mean? You kind of get in there, you do the business, you get it over and done with, and you go to sleep. Whereas Battlefield is more of a long, drawn out experience. You can jump on with your friends, you play as a squad, you take the tank, you take the horse, I'll fly the plane, things like that. I love both franchises, but EA now are using Respawn to make Titanfall, which is a game that I love, and I've said that before. But the reality of it is the community behind this is slowly drifting away. The community is dying off, even though they keep putting free maps into the game and they're adding new Titans and premium skins that you can pay for, but you know what you're going to get, and the content is somewhat quite rich in that regard. People are still getting bored with Titans, and I think that's all down to the double jump in the movement, whereas people like me actually really like that in Titanfall. The majority and the numbers don't lie, you know, people are coming away from it. And what are EA actually doing to respond to this? They're having Respawn start working on a Star Wars game. Now, again, I am a Star Wars fanboy. I get a Star Wars stiffy over practically anything related to the subject. But still, EA, unless you're working on a FIFA or Madden, their studios are working on Star Wars, which for me is a massive waste of time. Respawn have made Call of Duty games in the past. We know this. Zampala and West are the Call of Duty kings. Well, to be fair, Treyarch have been doing a very good job over the past few years, and the amount of people on Black Ops 2 speaks volumes of that. But that's besides the point. I would love to see EA make a genuine competitor for Call of Duty to fit in that genre, you know, that quick, action-packed. I don't like the term boots on the ground, so I'm going to say feet on the floor movement, and you could add kill streaks. Yeah, look, I'm sure Activision, if EA were to go and do this, Activision would have the lawyers on the phone straight away, but you know, EA are also a multi-billion dollar company. They've got lawyers too. They could make this work. Instead of having kill streaks, you could have kill contracts. You know, something along them lines. If EA could make a military shooter which is made for the casual audience, but could also have an esports agenda, which you could make these events, big tournaments and big cash prizes, and get esports teams into that, then you could be onto a winner, not just to go up against Call of Duty and so-called kill CoD, but so the two could actually coexist, because when competition's only a good thing. And that's what people don't seem to understand with these games. I'm just going to blow some of your minds right now. It is okay to like more than one first-person shooter. Alright, I'm a Battlefield fan, I'm a Call of Duty fan, I'm a Titanfall fan, I'm an Overwatch fan, I'm a Halo fan. I fucking love first-person shooters, and more importantly, I love games. And that is why I love making YouTube videos and I love talking about games, and that is why I'd love to see EA just let Respawn make their military shooter and put it up alongside the likes of Call of Duty and let the two just coexist. You know, let them be competitors, let them take pop shots at each other, let them try one up each other, because the only person who's going to win in that regard is us, is the gamer, is the player. And I think what Respawn could actually do with this would be incredible. But again, this isn't one of them things where I hate Infinite Warfare or anything like that and I want CoD to die. It's nothing like that at all, man. Competition is only a good thing, and seeing these two go up against each other in a game with the same genre and the same style and the same feel, now that would be interesting to see, to try and outmatch what the other one could do. You could suppose say Titanfall is that same kind of game, but in effect it's really not. This appeals more to the sci-fi crowd, the future crowd, and whilst Call of Duty is currently doing now with Infinite Warfare, Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare, it's not Call of Duty's roots. That's not what originally Call of Duty was about, and to be honest, whoever thought of putting Titanfall 2 in the release window of between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, look, whether you like the Infinite Warfare trailer or not, Call of Duty is a big ass brand. There's a reason them games are the biggest sellers every year in the first person shooter genre, and it's the same again with Infinite Warfare. Yes, Call of Duty's trailers could win Oscars, but that's besides the point. They make silky smooth games that play well when it's not a laggy mess, of course. I was obsessed. I was taking this Titan out and I didn't care what I had to do. This Titan was going down. And yeah, like I said, I think whoever put the Titanfall 2 release window in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, they seriously need a slap in the face. They do, like, genuinely. Who put 50p in the dickhead? Because that guy is an absolute idiot. They killed this franchise as far as I'm concerned. You see the player base dropping off, and that's a real shame for Titanfall. But still, it always kind of drives me back. Could Respawn have the keys to the Medal of Honor franchise? We all know Medal of Honor was a huge first-person shooter way back when. Unfortunately, back in 2012, it got its name dragged through the mud with Warfire, which is a really stupid fucking name. But still, it's just something that I'd like to see. This isn't a bash at Call of Duty, this isn't a bash at Battlefield, this isn't a bash at anything. This is just something that I've been thinking of, and I kind of want your thoughts on this as well. Would you like to see Respawn step up and make a similar Call of Duty style game, instead of having EA having Respawn waste away making another Star Wars game to fit into that, what is quite frankly an oversaturated franchise to this point, with the amount of films that are coming out every year, Star Wars Battlefront every 2 years. I like the films and I like the games, but surely they could have these studios doing something else. That's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed and still want to see more, you know what, 2 buttons pressed by now. Big thank you to Thunder for letting me upload to TSG once again. I apologize for my voice. I've come down with a serious bout of man flu. I don't always sound like a prepubescent teenager, so I do apologize for that. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I've been my polar bear. Cue the outro.